Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. First, a quick moment. Could everyone please silence their cell phones if you haven't already? Thank you. I'm Deputy County Executive Shannon Braddock, and thank you. I just want to thank everyone for being here today. It has been my privilege to serve alongside Executive Dow Constantine for my 15 years that I have worked at King County. And I'm so happy to welcome you all here today for State of the County. But it's a bittersweet welcome because today will be Executive Constantine's final address. And under his leadership, we have accomplished so much. But I think I'll let him tell you more about that. So please join me in welcoming our executive, Dow Constantine.
Well, thank you, Shannon, and thanks to all of you. Welcome. We're gathered today at Carey Hall. It opened in 1921 as home to Cornish College of the Arts. These walls have fostered a lot of creativity and innovation over the course of a century. Cornish is going strong at its South Lake Union location, and it was just announced that the school is going to be joining forces with Seattle University for the next leg of the journey. And what of this grand old building? Well, Seattle Theater Group is giving it new life as a vibrant center for local arts and artists to engage, collaborate, and learn. Now, as old as this place is, it stands on a place much older. This hill, the lake to the east, the sound to the west, all the lands of King County have been the home to tribes and bands of the Coast Salish people for thousands, even tens of thousands of years. This land is their land. We respect their sovereignty, their right to self-determination, and I've been honored to partner with tribes and tribal leaders throughout my time in office. I understand that one of those leaders, Leonard Forsman, the chair of the Suquamish, is here with us today. Thank you, Leonard. Oh, and go Dogs. Go Dogs. Yeah, that's right. Leonard's a regent at the university. Friends, this is it. My 16th and final report on the state of the county. It is a bittersweet moment, a time for reflection, a time for gratitude as well. First and foremost, I am grateful that my family is here with me today. How fortunate am I that I can share this moment with them? Shirley and I are blessed with this bright and talented tween who's missing 5th grade right now. And my brother is here with my parents, Lois and John, aged 94 and 97. Thank you for raising us here. Thank you for raising us in this spectacular place. I am grateful as well for my team past and present, for my supporters and allies, for the people who have elected me 11 times, 12 if you count high school, to serve the people to the best of my ability. At the risk of understating the point, a lot has changed since 2009. The year Shirley and I attended the inauguration of America's first black president. The year I got to take the first light rail trip on our new one line from Westlake to SeaTac with the legendary Jim Ellis and others. The year I paid off my student loans. And the year I was elected executive. In that first year in office, I laid out our plan for working together to become one King County. I described a path forward, innovating and adapting to the wreckage of the economy wrought by the Great Recession. Now, 3 governors, 4 presidential administrations, and depending on how you count, 5, 6, or 7 Seattle mayors later, I'm still standing. And our team is still standing strong. We have remade King County government rooted in our shared values and with the courage to do ambitious things. We've acted with purpose and resolve, even when it was difficult, which was often. But we've navigated those difficulties, holding fast to our values, and we've created real and meaningful change for the people of King County. I am honored to have been your executive, the executive of one of the largest and most forward-thinking jurisdictions in the country. Thank you. In the face of enormous challenges, from global economic meltdowns to a global pandemic, from the grotesque and corrosive wealth disparities to the aggressive sabotage of America's democratic institutions and our place in the world, we have persevered, purposefully, methodically, building the foundation for every person to thrive. We faced enormous challenges in the early days of my administration. Not only the profound impacts of the Great Recession, but a structural financial gap and growing demand for services that continues to outpace our resources. King County's long struggled with the constraints of an arbitrary 1% cap on property tax revenue. First proposed by an initiative huckster whose name we did not mention here, 25 years later, that policy continues to severely limit our ability to fund essential services. For example, if revenue had simply kept up with inflation and population growth since 2001, property taxes this year would have contributed about $914 million to the general fund. The actual revenue is projected to be about $440 million, cutting our purchasing power by more than half. Those dollars could have been used to fund critical programs, like behavioral health services, like public health clinics, like public safety. Leading with our values, we have asked voters to support important services that would otherwise have been eliminated, and they have generously agreed. We've made difficult but fiscally responsible decisions, stabilized the general fund, earned the highest bond ratings, maintained appropriate reserves, and thanks to our dedicated public servants who show up for the people every day, we have been able to deliver. I want to be clear. King County is financially healthy, but all we've done to mitigate the impact of the ever-declining general fund could not erase this artificially created structural deficit. Unless we get help from the legislature, as the next biennial budget is prepared over the coming months, there will be tough and harmful choices. But there are some hopeful signs coming out of Olympia. I am grateful that both the House and the Senate have recently proposed partial local government revenue solutions, and I urge them to include common sense reform in any final budget. Now, at the start of my administration, I laid out a vision for King County government to be responsive, effective, and accountable to the people we serve. A county that invests in transportation infrastructure. A county that prioritizes the health and well-being of our most vulnerable. A county that partners with cities and businesses and labor to create opportunity. We built this vision on some key principles. First, stewardship of our land and of our planet, preserving them for future generations. Second, strengthening democracy and defending the value and dignity of every person, regardless of race or gender, sexual orientation, or ability. Third, a commitment to responsible budgeting and continuous improvement, making this shared enterprise ever more able to deliver what the people need to succeed. And above all, aligning our 18,000 employees around our unifying purpose, our true north, making Martin Luther King County a welcoming community where every person can thrive. Thank you. These principles have allowed us to continually deliver on our promises over all these years and to grow our region's potential to meet the evolving needs of the people. Let's start with that first principle, stewardship. Our vision of a future worthy of every person here today and all those who will follow guides our work to preserve our natural environment. I launched the Land Conservation Initiative in 2016 to protect the last best 65,000 acres of open space within a generation before it's gone forever. Through the initiative, we have already protected 30,000 acres of irreplaceable forests, farmlands, river corridors, and even urban green space. Thanks to King County voters' support of conservation futures and of the Parks Levy, we have been able to accelerate investmets to save these critical places. We've completed large restoration projects along the Green and Duwamish, along the Cedar and Snoqualmie rivers, restoring 500 acres of fish and wildlife habitat while protecting farmland and homes and roads from flooding and erosion. One example of our progress is the Lake Sammamish kokanee salmon. This ancient little fish, so intertwined with the life of the Snoqualmie tribe, has been in decline for years, harmed by habitat loss and pollution and a warming climate. By 2018, only a handful of kokanee returned to spawn. They were on the very brink of extinction. I declared that we would not stand by and watch this happen. And in partnership with the tribe, with cities, and with community volunteers, we launched extraordinary measures to rescue the kokanee. How extraordinary? We organized an airlift of little fish to and from a hatchery on Orcas Island. Yeah. And the results? Last season, over 8,000 adult kokanee returned to their historic spawning grounds, the second highest total since King County began keeping records 30 years ago. That is the sort of thing that makes this very tough job worthwhile. It's one small example of what we have done over the past 16 years and what we can do moving forward to protect and restore our natural environment for people and all the creatures of the earth. When we unite in common sense, when we unite around a common vision, we can accomplish great things. The same holds true when we take on big infrastructure challenges like wastewater and stormwater, like building decarbonization and transit. We have prioritized building the high-capacity transit system this region should have built 50 years ago, with vibrant, connected, walkable communities, creating a more prosperous, sustainable future. 16 years ago, our transit system looked very different. Sound Transit had struggled in its infancy. But now, with Joni Earle at the helm, we were building. And in July of 2009, we opened the first few miles of track and a handful of stations on what is now the One Line. Today, we have 44 miles of track and 43 stations, and by next year, we will have grown the system to 62 miles and 51 stations, including extensions to Federal Way and Mercer Island and Redmond. And that Redmond extension is the very first project in Sound Transit 3. Now, last year, we celebrated the opening of Eastlink, and we marked an important milestone that year as well when we extended light rail into Snohomish County. We are delivering on our promise to build a world-class rail network that is the spine of a comprehensive transit system. Many people have helped us accomplish this, from Representative Ruth Fisher, the mother of Sound Transit, with whom I served in the House in Olympia, to our iconic CEO, Joni Earl, to Mayor and former board chair Greg Nichols, who helped lead the creation of the agency and carried it forward. Greg may be here today, but I want to thank him for his service. There he is right there. Thank you. And meanwhile, at Metro, we have launched 8 rapid ride routes with 4 more on the way, creating fast, frequent, reliable, and popular service across the length and breadth of the county. This was the vision of my predecessor, Ron Sims, and I want to thank him for his innovative idea and for all he did for the people, for the environment, and for the future of this place we call home. Thank you, Executive Sims. Metro is creating access to opportunity through simpler fare policies and equitable mobility options like paratransit, Metro Flex, the water taxi. I have convened a regional fare forum with transit agencies from 4 counties and the state to advance our collective work to make fares simpler, make them more uniform, and from the perspective of the customer, make this one transit system. And while we expand service and make transit easier to use, we're also driving the transition to a zero-emission Metro fleet. We are determined to put the days of diesel behind us and invest in new technology. We will reduce carbon emissions and ambient air and noise pollution to make our communities cleaner and healthier. We are well on our way to creating the system we've always envisioned, a transit network on which thriving communities and a thriving economy are built. We know people need to get to work and school and essential services efficiently and affordably, and also safely. People need and deserve to be and to feel safe. And that's why we've taken action for the immediate and the long-term safety of our transit system. At Metro, we have more than doubled the number of transit security officers to 175, and we're on track to hire 20 more commissioned transit police. We're ordering new buses with larger and stronger driver barriers and retrofitting our existing buses. And through employee-driven innovations, we have increased our bus shelter cleaning teams to provide 24/7 service. On May 1st of last year, I authorized the launch of Operation Safe Transit, a coordinated effort between our law enforcement and human services, with an early emphasis on hotspots like the Burien Transit Center or Seattle's 3rd Avenue Transit Corridor, or more recently, the intersection of 12th and Jackson in Little Saigon. As of last week, King County Sheriff deputies had made more than 520 arrests across the system, while simultaneously connecting hundreds of people to the behavioral health and housing assistance they need. But let me be clear. For transit to be truly safe, our communities need to be truly safe. King County needs to intervene upstream to reduce crime, gun violence, behavioral health crises. We are working to give every person the ability to live a safe and productive life, knowing that if they reach out for help, it will be there. A big part of that security is having a safe and stable place to call home. Secure, affordable housing is essential to community health. No one was a greater champion for affordable housing than my former House colleague, Frank Chop. He passed away this last weekend. We will honor his legacy through our continued effort to secure, as he said, home, health, and hope for all. In part, through Frank's work, King County is creating more than 2,300 affordable housing units near transit over the next 4 years, connecting more people to opportunity, and we're creating an additional 1,500 units through our housing finance program. Last year, we helped families, seniors, and veterans open the doors to nearly 1,800 new affordable homes. This progress has been critical to counter the scarcity of available and affordable housing as our county population grows. But we know too well that many of our neighbors simply do not have a safe place to call home. While many would like to argue otherwise, homelessness is at its core a housing issue. Thank you. We're advancing multiple strategies to bring more people inside, including our Health Through Housing initiative. As of the end of 2024, we've secured over 1,400 units across 11 buildings in Auburn and Burien, in Redmond and Renton, and several in Seattle, providing stable housing for those without it. And we're opening 3 more buildings this year in Federal Way, Kirkland, and just a few blocks from here on Capitol Hill. There is a lot to look back on and to celebrate, like best starts for kids. Our innovative approach to ensure that our youngest residents have the opportunity to thrive. Embraced by county voters, it is truly a generational investment, helping babies grow up through the school years into young adulthood, ready to go out into the world. Happy, healthy, safe, and thriving. In less than 10 years, we have reached more than 750,000 youth and their families. Thank you to our staff. Thank you to all our community partners who rallied around this noble idea and made Best Starts for Kids such a success. Throughout my time in office, I've also advocated for the humane care of animals. When I became King County Executive 16 years ago, staff and volunteers were doing their best to care for the thousands of animals that came into our shelter every year, but they were simply overwhelmed and under-resourced. The new regional model we created, Regional Animal Services of King County, is now a national leader in caring for animals, nursing them back to health, reuniting them with their people, or helping them find their forever home. And last year, the council approved my funding proposal for a new shelter so that we can keep delivering exceptional animal care for decades to come. Thank you, council members. Okay, so we've covered a lot so far. Yet we've barely scratched the surface. It turns out you can accomplish a lot in a decade and a half if you have strong partners and outstanding staff aligned around a set of shared values. Don't worry, I will not take you through every policy and program over the 4 terms that I have served. Rather than listing the particulars for the next 5 or 6 hours, I'll just say this: we have been relentless in our commitment to progress. We're building a better future with tangible impacts that will last long beyond my administration. Okay, maybe just a couple more. Take our critical investments in behavioral health. We are expanding access to essential mental health and addiction services. After years of neglect at the federal level, through our transformative crisis care centers initiative, people will receive the behavioral health care they need when and where they need it. Last month, we announced the new Connections Kirkland facility as the first crisis care center in the new county-wide network. We will steadily open 4 additional crisis centers, including one dedicated to supporting young people. But even before that, we've deployed 32 mobile crisis response teams to help those who need urgent care. And we will keep growing this resource. There are more youth-focused teams on the way. Now, when a person's mental health or substance use reaches a crisis point, it can also be a turning point toward support and recovery. But only if the right treatment is available when it's needed. That's why we prioritize connecting people to the resources and life-saving interventions that are proven to work. We're taking action along multiple strategies, restoring residential treatment beds, including a new 16-bed facility that opened last fall, issuing buprenorphine prescriptions through our on-demand prescribing line, connecting nearly 700 people last year to anti-addiction medication, deploying life-saving supplies like naloxone in more places, from first responders to vending machines. And later this year, opening the region's first post-overdose recovery center and a new sobering center. None of this would be possible without a robust, diverse behavioral health workforce. So we have added scores of new apprenticeships and awarded nearly $17 million to support and train and recruit caregivers, because it takes people to treat people. Now, while we tackle the crises of our day, we must also invest in plans that guarantee our region's future vibrancy. Our work to transform the county's downtown Seattle properties has been embraced for its bold vision. The Urban Design and Architectural Design Awards recognized our team at Northwest Studio, and our Civic Campus project was shortlisted for the World Architecture News Awards. These accolades acknowledge the power of planning and urban design to shape a region's potential. With that potential in mind, we'll transmit legislation to convene a committee similar to the one that stewarded the successful waterfront renaissance to move this work forward. Together, we can create a truly great neighborhood that benefits other downtown Seattle neighborhoods and King County taxpayers and our entire region. And last but not least, we've made a transformational investment in our region's creative economy through the Doors Open initiative. Doors Open will generate nearly $100 million per year to support arts and heritage, science, and historic preservation. It will make a meaningful difference in our community by opening doors so that every King County resident can be a participant and a patron and a part of our cultural conversation. However, all of this, everything I've talked about, is happening in the shadow of the greatest challenge and the greatest threat: climate change. What we do right now will define our future. And it is our responsibility to the communities we serve and to those who will follow to do everything in our power as soon as possible. We are taking bold steps. We're reducing carbon through our RE+ Zero Waste initiative. We're transitioning to electric vehicle fleets. We're investing in the built environment, including $20 million in climate equity capital projects to support those most affected by climate change. There's reason to be hopeful. While the region's population has increased dramatically, up nearly 500,000 people since 2007 to more than 2.25 million people today, per capita. While the region's population has increased dramatically, up nearly 500,000 people since 2007 to more than 2.25 million people today, per capita percent during that time. We're readying our people and places for the climate impacts we're already experiencing. This includes heat mitigation strategies to prepare for extreme temperatures, building our wildfire preparedness, response, and recovery capacity, and expanding green jobs to both protect the environment and provide access to high-wage careers. Soon we will deliver our latest strategic climate action plan. It will provide the roadmap for King County to keep advancing our commitments to greenhouse gas reduction, sustainable and resilient frontline communities, and climate preparedness over the next 5 years and beyond. Now, I know that felt like a lot. Because, my friends, this has been a lot. The journey has not always been easy, but it has always been worth it. At its heart, our work is about creating a high-functioning enterprise that delivers for the people who call this place home. It's about taking that quality that is at the very heart of our civilization, that essential human quality that is so scorned by the new extremists, empathy, and making it actionable, giving it life in budgeting and policy and in politics. We value the people we serve. We value the public employees who devote their lives to serving the people, learning and wielding the tools of continuous improvement to ensure our work is ever more effective and always keeping oriented to that true north in everything we do. And so, friends, do not succumb to the cynicism and the threats issuing from the other Washington. We have the industry, the intellect, the character, the values to stand strong and chart our own course. Our way, our defense of human dignity, our commitment to the stewardship of our democratic institutions and our planet will be the future, because it must be. As I reflect on these nearly 30 years in the House and the Senate, on the County Council, and as your executive, I am filled with gratitude. Gratitude for the partnerships we've built across sectors and communities. Gratitude for the thousands of elected officials alongside whom I have toiled, including my colleagues on the County Council since 2002. Gratitude for King County's dedicated employees and for my stunningly talented, capable, principled leadership team members. As you surely know by now, I've been nominated to be the next Chief Executive Officer of Sound Transit. I cannot think of a better next chapter to continue work that has been at the very heart of my public service since my council days. Should the board at its meeting tomorrow agree, it would mean leaving this office of King County Executive sooner than I had planned. There will be no time for long goodbyes. So let me say goodbye now, in case I don't have another chance. I would like to take a moment to recognize my team, past and present, all the progress we have made, all the crises we've solved, and the success we have enjoyed. Those belong to you, your brilliance, your values, your dedication. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. To my successor, whoever you might be. The work ahead is as critical as ever. It is rewarding for me to know that the next chapter will unfold on the solid foundation that we have built. And I will be there to help or to stay out of your way as needed. And finally, to the people of King County, Thank you. Your trust, engagement, and commitment to building a stronger, more just community and a better future have made everything possible. Because of you, the state of King County is strong, resilient, and brimming with possibility. Serving you as your executive has been the honor of a lifetime. Farewell.